This week shall be the last week of classes for the seminary students. So after this week, the students are going to take their final exams for this semester. So we appreciate your prayers for our students in the seminary, that they may study hard as they prepare for their exams, their papers, their readings, their assignments, that they may do all these things for the glory of our God. It is not an easy thing to study theology at Toronto Baptist Seminary. I know the study is hard here because I have my personal experience here. I remember years ago when I started here, I struggled with different subjects, particularly the Greek and Hebrew languages. I still remember before one final exam, I tried to burn my midnight oil. At that time, coffee or tea won't really work, won't really keep me awake. So I decided to stand on a chair so that I won't fall asleep, so I can use my time to prepare for the exam. As Christians, we are called to be awake in this time and age. And even in this story of 10 virgins, the Lord Jesus teaches us. He said, "Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour in which the Son of Man is coming." This parable of 10 virgins is among many Jesus parables. When we come to the parables of Jesus, we need to realize that Jesus used parables to illustrate the spiritual teachings, the spiritual truth, as we often use parables, try to make our listeners understand our ideas. So parable first has that function of revealing. Jesus even said that, quoting Psalm 74 in Matthew 13, he said, "I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things kept secret from the foundation of the world." But when we study the parables of Jesus' parables, we also find sometimes the parable that Jesus taught has some unique features. So it's not only just for revealing, but also for concealing. When Jesus taught his disciples the first parable in Matthew 13, afterward the disciples went to him and asked Jesus, "Why you use parables?" And then Jesus quoted prophet Isaiah. He said in Matthew 13, quoting Isaiah 6, "For the hearts of these people have grown dull. Their ears are hard of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, lest they should understand with their hearts and turn, so that I should heal them." Jesus said, I do not want them to understand. I use parables lest they understand and turn, so I have to heal them. So Jesus' parables are different than the parables we are using. It's not only revealing, illustrating, but also concealing to those who do not believe in Jesus Christ, but will reveal the spiritual truth to those who trust in Jesus with faith. So we see Jesus use parables. Parables is something in the original language called parabole, cast things side by side. On the one side is something ordinary, something way in our own lives experience. But on the other side are the spiritual matters, spiritual truths intangible, invisible, to compare that using the parables. So we see the similarity as parables shows us, but also there is always fundamental differences between the parable and our ordinary life. That's something when we come into these parables, try to understand what Jesus is teaching us, we need to understand. We need to see the similarity and the differences. When we come to Matthew chapter 25, we saw there are 3 parables: the parables of 10 virgins, the parable of talents, the parable of the sheep and the goats. Those 3 parables seems have a unified theme, encouraging Christians to prepare, to be ready for the coming back of the Lord Jesus. This is in the context of chapter 24. In chapter 24, in that Olivet discourse, the Lord Jesus told his disciples the things about the end times. He told the disciples there will be signs of the end times, and then there will be a great tribulations. And also after the great tribulation, the Lord Jesus will come back. And then in the midst of this prophecy, Jesus said to the disciples in Matthew 24, verse 36, "But of the day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, but my Father only." And also in verse 42, Jesus said, "Watch therefore, for you do not know what hour your Lord is coming." Similar words, similar sayings like chapter 25, verse 13, the Lord encouraged his disciples to watch, to be prepared, because we know neither the day nor the hour of our Lord's coming back. We need to be vigilant in this life, especially in this age of confusion, in this age of darkness. We need to be awake. We need to be vigilant. We need shine the lights into the world. As we come to this story of 10 virgins, we are familiar with this story. We know this story, and this story can be divided into 4 basic parts. Verse 1 through 4, talking about the background. There is a wedding. There is marriage. And then somehow, the bridegroom will come to this particular place where the bride lives. And then there's 10 virgins. They went out to meet the bridegroom. And we know that this is the evening time because they went out, took lamps with light to shine in the darkness. They didn't have the lights we have today. They didn't have road lights as we have today. They have to bring their own lamps when they go out in the darkness. But these 5 virgins divided into 2 groups. 5 are wise. Took lamps, also prepared oil. And then there were 5 foolish, only took lamps without preparing extra oil. And then verse 5 is the second part of the story. The things goes like this. The bridegroom was delayed. They went out for a while, but still couldn't meet the bridegroom. Basically because the bridegroom was delayed. We don't know what happened to the bridegroom. But anyway, they went out, waited for 1 hour, another hour, the 3rd hour. the bridegroom is still not yet coming. So they become slumbered and fall in sleep. The third part of the story, verses 6 to 9. Now, at midnight, the bridegroom came, and someone cried out to wake up the 10 virgins. And they quickly arose and quickly trimmed their lamps and get ready to go and greet the bridegroom. But the trouble is, the 5 foolish virgins find their oil in the lamps is running out. There's no more oil, actually. So they turn to the wise virgins and ask for oil. And the 5 wise virgins said, we do not have enough, even for ourselves. You better go out to buy. I always amazed why they ask the foolish virgins to go out at midnight, where they could go to buy oil at midnight. But anyway, they went out to buy oil. And then the last part, verses 10 to 13. When the foolish virgins came back, the wise virgin already met the bridegroom and went into the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. And these foolish virgins knocked the door and asked, Lord, Lord, open for us. We are back. Open the door for us. But the bridegroom said, no, I never know you. Actually, the bridegroom said, assuredly I say to you, I do not know you. I won't open the door for you. That is the story. That is the story. If we try to understand a story like this, maybe we can change a perspective and try to meditate upon the words in this story. There are actually 3 what we can call challenging things in the story. First, there is a distance between the bridegroom and the 10 virgins. It seems in the story the bridegroom came from another city or another town or village. There's a distance between them. So the 10 virgins went out to meet him. Maybe they not only went out of the house, but also went out of the village, went out of the city, went a long way out to wait, to meet, to greet the bridegroom. The second thing is there is a darkness. The story happened in the evening. So the virgins need light, need lamps when they went out. So this is the second challenging thing. We can try to understand the cultural background there, but now we normally don't have that. We most likely have our wedding ceremony during the day, either morning or afternoon. Certainly we have the banquet, the reception in the evenings. But in the story, the second thing we notice is the darkness. They were in the evening. And thirdly, there's an even more challenging thing is that the bridegroom was delayed. For the wise virgins, because they prepared oil, the oil can last for a long time for the lamp. That's good. But if they didn't prepare enough oil, they would be like those foolish virgins, won't be able to find favor in the sight of the bridegroom. So both group, they went out to meet the bridegroom. Both group, they understand this is the evening time. We need lamp, we need light. Both group went out and wait. Yet both group fall in sleep when the bridegroom was delayed. The difference is very clear. The difference is the wise virgins prepared oil. The foolish virgins didn't prepare oil. This is a fatal. This will bring a consequence that the foolish ones won't be able to get into the wedding banquet. The mistake the foolish virgins made caused such a terrible consequence. But as we compare our life experience with this parable, or when we try to meditate and think what the Lord tried to teach us, we will have question. Yes, these 5 virgins are foolish. They didn't prepare oil like the other 5. They are foolish, silly. They didn't know that there's traffic on all these highways. When you go out, there could be an accident. There would be delay sometimes.